talk about sort of the Microsoft impact on this, because they're not the only ones involved. A lot of software angles. Michael Turrin, senior equity analyst at Wells Fargo, covering software. Michael, thank you very much for joining us. Is this really just it's not just a Microsoft story? And if not, what does it mean for Microsoft, and who else might it be relevant from an investment angle to?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not just the Microsoft story, but it's interesting that surfacing when investors have been growing fatigued around Microsoft at what we think is the wrong time. Cloud took 5 to 7 years to reach critical mass. AI is moving faster, but we're entering year 3 since ChatGPT took the world by storm, and Azure AI is now a $10 billion plus business. What's clear is no one's blinking in terms of spend at this point. All of the technologists we speak to are convinced this is a major shift in technology, that the bigger risk is not participating.
Yeah.
Falling behind, and Microsoft is taking advantage of the OpenAI relationship they've had that's helped them establish leadership position.
Michael, I was just going to say, I think your note really put kind of a finger on it today as well. For those who initially, it was so surprising, right? We have this big, splashy Stargate announcement. Oh, by the way, OpenAI is no longer exclusively going to use Microsoft. You sort of say, well, wait a minute, what's that about? And then you look at Microsoft shares, and to your point, the shares are higher because now maybe they get their right of first refusal. And maybe that's a really important point to make here. So they can say to OpenAI, we don't want those workloads. Maybe those are not as consistent. Maybe those are not as profitable for us. Now we can maybe reduce our CapEx spend a little bit. And now we can go to other partners as well. So that's why you see this as kind of a win-win.
Yeah, 2 important factors. One is the relationship is in place until 2030, meaning Microsoft gets access to all of the IP advancement that OpenAI is embarking towards, and it's likely the gains remain significant. So that piece is important. And then the right of first refusal portion of that is also very important, because it means that Microsoft gets a look at what they're using their infrastructure for. If it's for training purposes, those are super intensive upfront uses of the capacity that Microsoft might have other needs for. So their ability to evaluate and shift towards inference or other uses of the data center capacity where we need to, I think is important. It seems like the biggest bottleneck everyone is expecting to face is all tied to capacity in general. So Microsoft and OpenAI, I think, are somewhat acknowledging that by saying we're opening this up where necessary. But Microsoft having that first refusal point, I think, is very important.
I know, Surratt, I know Michael does not cover Oracle, so I don't want to ask him about Oracle. Does cover Salesforce. Maybe they're involved somehow. Are you shocked at this Oracle? I mean, Oracle stock has been like the NVIDIA of 2025 so far. I mean, I thought Oracle was like a boring old database company.
And we own Oracle, so for full disclosure. But
I didn't randomly bring that up.
I know, you knew that. But Oracle has changed their whole business around, right? It's not just the old databases. They're using AI, they're using analytics, and they have the ability to do all this. So I think as a partner, you're using complementary companies, and Oracle's one of them, and they're going to be a beneficiary of this. And they did, the stock was up 40% last year too. So they've turned their business around, and I think as a partner, that's where they're going to benefit.
I wonder, just kind of quickly on this as well, we talked about ARM Holdings. That's a little bit more under the radar. That was such a lackluster IPO, and now that stock is up 45% since Jan 1.
Right. And ARM has the royalties that they're going to get on some of these chips being used. And really what you're saying is NVIDIA, ARM, even AMD, it's such a big market at this point that you're already paying for the future, but these companies are making real products, and the demand is so big. So all the discussion that we had, with NVIDIA about, wait a second, are we going to be double ordering, et cetera, for today, that's being put at rest because now you've got future orders down the road.
Yeah, and I doubt Masayoshi's son is on United, so he's probably on Air Son, and that might be the most valuable trip he's ever taken, going to the White House.
Of course.
Because SoftBank is also he's also chair of ARM Holdings. Right?
Exactly. They're the majority owner of a stock that's up 45% this year and 16% today on that announcement.
And going to the White House, come out with a couple billion.
Oh, yeah, more than a couple. That market cap is probably
Michael
up.
Turrin, you're out there, Wells Fargo software equity research analyst. Michael, thank you very much. Do appreciate that.